Good morning, class. Today is Monday, May 4th, and May the 4th be with you. Today we are going to do the black diamond and double black diamond on conversion. Now, this is going to be very tricky. I'm going to walk you step by step through it, and I just want you to take a deep breath, do the best that you can, and know that the double black diamond, you can either do that independently, or if you prefer, you can go on IXL for 30 minutes. So both of those are fine options. But we're going to go through this together right now. So the black diamond says, I need 10 times 2 3/10 quarts. How much do I need in pints? So immediately when we see times 10, times 100, times the power of 10, we should immediately draw a place value chart. So everybody draw a place value chart in front of you. Hopefully you all still remember how to be experts at place value charts. Huzzah, right? This is where it would be, right? No. It's really difficult for me to do the correct version of the place value chart, not backwards. But we're going to plug in our number 2 3/10. And then we know multiply, slide to the left, divide, slide to the right. So since we're multiplying, we're going to shift our whole number 1 to the left. So that leaves us with the number 23. So we have 23 quarts. How much is that in pints? So if we think about our kingdom of gallon, this might seem overwhelming at first, but each quart has how many pints in it? You can even visualize it in your head. Each quart has 2 pints. So now that I know each quart has 2 pints, all I need to do is if I have 23 quarts, I just need to double that to get my number of pints. And since I'm doubling for me is always easier if I imagine it in my head as repeated addition. So 3 plus 3 is 6, 2 plus 2 is 4. So our answer here is 46 pints. Number 2, Kelsey ran 3, and I'm erasing my board. Look at me, all prepared with an eraser today. Kelsey ran 3 5/10 miles. Jane ran 100 times less than her. How far did Jane run in feet? So we have 3.5, and anytime I see 100 times, I know that I need to draw a place value chart. If it's 100 times less, that's a weird way of saying this. But what that is it's actually converting we're actually dividing, okay, because it's less than, which is a weird way to think about it. But remember, division is the same thing as repeated subtraction. So remember, less than, repeated subtraction, sometimes those keywords cross over. So if I have 3.5, I'm going to plug it into my place value chart. Everybody should be doing that too. I'm going to show you the backwards version because I can't do place value charts backwards. Multiply, slide to the left, divide, slide to the right. We're going to slide to the right. Since we're dividing by 100, we need to slide over 2 places because it's a 1 followed by 2 zeros. So I'm going to move it over, bring my decimal straight down. So now I'm left with 35 tenths, hundredths, thousands. I'm left with 35 thousandths. So let's go back to our question. Our question says, how far did Jane run in feet? So the first thing we need to figure out is how many feet are in 1 mile. So there are 5,280 feet in a mile. How I'm going to figure out 35 hundredths of that, or thousandths of that, excuse me, is I'm going to multiply 5,280, and do this on your board with me, or your paper, or whatever you're working on, sidewalk chalk, doesn't matter. I'm going to multiply it by 0.035, or by 35 hundredths. So I'm going to pause, and I want you to come back when you're ready with the answer. I was paused because I felt the need to double check my math on my answer key. So you should have gotten 184 8/10. Let's review our song about whole numbers and decimals because I think that is helpful. When multiplying a decimal by a whole number, you count the digits in the decimal. That's the number of boxes found. We put the whole number on the left, the decimal on top. We separate the decimal by its place value, then stop. Multiply each box by the side and top. If it's over 9, rebundle the box. Fabulous. Just got to get some singing back in your life. I need 100 times more than 3 67/100 grams. How much do I need in ounces? So again, I'm seeing that 100 times, so I know I'm going to need to draw a place value chart. So I'm going to put, whoops, I'm actually showing all the answers, and that's really sad. All right, I need 100 times 3.67. So when I'm going to show you another way to do this that's a little bit easier for me to draw backwards, and also kind of the faster ways you get into middle school. So when we're multiplying a decimal by 100, if you don't want to draw that place value chart, what we can also do is think about moving the decimal, right? So in this case, it says 100 times more than. So if I have 100 times more than, the same thing applies. I basically know that I want my decimal to get bigger. What that's going to involve is sliding my decimal. I know we say multiply, slide to the left. If I'm moving my decimal, I would move my decimal to the right. So moving my number to the left is the same thing as moving my decimal to the right. Let me repeat that one more time. Moving my number in a place value chart to the left is the same thing as moving my decimal to the right. Okay, so in this case, we're multiplying by 100. So same thing. We have a 1 followed by 2 zeros. So I know I can move my decimal over 1, 2. So my answer here would be 367. Awesome, right? A little bit faster. So now if I have 367 grams, how much do I need in ounces? So I know that there is 28 grams in an ounce, 16 ounces in a pound, 34 ounces in 1 liter. Customary could be easier. Yes, it could. I was just lamenting to my husband when we were going on a walk about how much I wished we all just converted to the metric system because it's so much easier than the customary system. But because we know there's 28 grams in an ounce, I need to take 367 and divide by 28. So now we're going to do our long division song. Does the divisor fit in the dividends? First number. Does 28 fit into 3? No, it doesn't. So we need to go over to the second number. Does the divisor fit in the dividends? Second number. Put it up top then. This time it does, so I'm going to put a 1 up top. Multiply, ooh, then we subtract and next number down and start again. So 36 minus 28 is 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 8. So now I'm going to drop down the 7. So now I need to figure out how many times does 28 go into 87? Let's try times 3. And that's exactly 84, so I'm very excited about that. So we put the 3 up top, multiply, and then we subtract in. So you should be now having 87 minus 84, 85, 86, 87. So that answer is 3. Remember, if I have no more numbers to bring down, I need to add decimal, decimal, 0. Or the way it looks for us is decimal, decimal, 0. Again, decimal, decimal, 0. Decimal, decimal, 0. Okay. So now I'm going to bring down my 0. Does 28 go into 30? Yes, it does. 1 time. 28 times 1 is 28. Minus equals 2. Drop down another 0. Doesn't go in any time. So we could go on forever and ever, but the answer here is approximately 3.1 ounces. So this is actually incorrect. This should be 3.1 ounces. 13.1 ounces. 13.1. So you could do number 4, 5, and 6 independently. Here are the answers, as you see here. Only come here when you're ready. So number 4 would be 2 8/10 pounds. Number 5 would be 700 gallons. And number 6 would be 93 7/500 pounds. Now, for the black diamond. I'm sorry, double black diamond. So only do this one if you want to skip the IXL for today. It's your choice. You can either do this one or you can do 30 minutes of IXL because I know my double black diamonds are really hard. So this one says Chelsea drank some soda in a week. Ji-sun drank half as much as Chelsea, but twice as much as Hannah. Hannah drank 2 9/100 gallons. How much did Chelsea and Ji-sun drink in quarts? Okay, so take a deep breath. First of all, we don't care that it's soda. It could be apple juice. We don't care. So don't let those little words trip you up. I usually name all of my people in my questions after students I've actually had in my class. So Chelsea, Jisun, and Hannah were all in my class one year. Do not get confused by names that might be unusual to you. You might not have met someone named Jisun here, and that's totally fine. If you want to change that name to something more in your wheelhouse, you feel free to. Just don't get distracted. I'm going to call them C, J, and H. So Chelsea drinks some soda in a week. Whenever it tells me that, I immediately draw a box with a C in it, right? So I'm saying, okay, Chelsea, she drank some amount of soda. Now I'm realizing that I was trying to draw it backwards, but I didn't. Chelsea drank some amount of soda, right? That kind of goes with the variables video I showed on Thursday about algebra, because all algebra is trying to do this kind of stuff, figuring out the missing elements, but doing it with equations instead of bar diagrams. So if you can master the bar diagram, your life in algebra is going to be 900 times easier. Don't think that algebra is going to be an easier solution for you. Please use this time to master the bar diagram. So Jisun drank half as much as Chelsea, but twice as much as Hannah. Okay. So Jisun drank half as much as Chelsea. So I'm going to draw a little half box, right? I'm showing 2 equal parts underneath Chelsea. And I'm going to write J for Jisun, okay? So now I'm showing Chelsea drank this much, Jisun drank this much. Now I need to take what Jisun drank and divide that in half. So this little tiny box down here is Hannah, okay? So now I need to say she drank 2 9/900 gallons, 2.09. How much did Chelsea and Jisun drink in quarts? So now I need to figure it out. So I've set this up for you. I'm going to show you the answer in a second, but basically I need to double this, right, to get to the amount Jisun drank. And then I need to double that to get to the amount Chelsea drank. It's all about visualizing it first and then putting it together. And I think, yeah, so the answer here, it says Hannah down there. That's really bad. It should say Chelsea drank 33 44/100 quarts. Jisun drank 16 72/100 quarts. The second question says, students were calculating how many grams of fat they eat in a week. Derek ate 3 times as many grams as Eleonora. Greg ate half as many grams as Derek. If Eleonora ate 567 grams of fat, how many more ounces did Derek eat than Greg? So the answer here is 30 more ounces. You want to use the same strategy that we were just talking about, putting together that bar diagram. So it's your choice, double black diamond or going onto IXL. That's our math for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow where we start doing something very scary, converting between metric and customary systems. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in a little bit for science.